Greetings, lords and ladies, Kaiser here, and welcome to the second episode of our 108 Heroes First Look. Now, this episode is going to be mostly about troop trees, due to the fact that I looked into 108 Heroes a little bit more, of course, and I could not find a troop tree neither in the actual game, where usually it's under the reports, nor did I find it on ModDB, or really any other site. The only, shall we say, clues that I found were users of the mod actually talking amongst each other and just giving each other information about what each of the factions has, aka there is no troop tree for this mod as of yet. So I decided to possibly do an episode specifically only for units. So what I did was I upgraded or rather leveled up my character a bunch, gave him a bunch of charisma and a bunch of leadership points so that we got enough party limit to be able to recruit from each and single one of the factions to show you what sort of troops are actually available. Now, we will go to the map of China just to give you a basic idea of what troops each of the factions has. It is really taking a couple of seconds. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so what you have to know is let's just go. Should we go across this aisle, across this line over here, or just along the map? Let's say along the map. So the Jinn Dynasty, the Jinn Kingdom has throwers. Now, this is the only faction that has these thrower units. We'll check what they actually do, or rather what they look like in but a moment. The Liang Kingdom has lancers, so they have strong cavalry units, especially if you go into the lancer tree branch. There we go, branch. Next up is the Zhao Kingdom. The Zhao have horse archers. Next up, the Shu Kingdom, who have infantry, very strong infantry, especially non-axe infantry. Next are the Shu. No, wait, is that the Shu? Yeah, it is the Shu. The Shu have strong infantry as well as the Chu have strong infantry. Next, the Shan we already did. Next are the Han. The Han have very strong cavalry. Liang Shan have strong archers. Wu have strong cavalry as well. And last but not least, Song have strong archers. So let's just take a look at what each of those units are actually like. Alright, so here we are. Let's start off. No, these don't go in any certain order or anything like that, so we'll just start off at the top with the Liang Kingdom. So, the Liang begin with tribesmen, which do go into skirmishers, which might hint that they might go straight into archers, but nope. The Liang actually have, like I mentioned, the strongest units of theirs goes through the Lancer branch. So these upgraded into skirmishers. The skirmishers already, there we go, actually go into horsemen and horse archers. Now, granted, skirmisher, like the general idea of a skirmisher in other mods is not already a mounted unit, but hey. This one goes into horsemen or horse archers. Now, let's just check the horse archers real quick, because this branch is shorter. For the Liang, these goes into horse archers, and they consequently into Liang veteran horse archers, who then go into rangers. So rangers, these are the maximum level archer unit for the Liang. On the other hand, if you go horsemen, they go into the Liang lancers. After the lancer comes the veteran lancer, the knight, and finally the wolf knight. That is the maximum level horse unit for the Liang. So that is probably something that I will be looking at as we go through this mod. You guys know that I do like myself some very, very strong cavalry. some good archers, and some good, shall we say, not meat shields, but shield wall. Let's put it like that, shield wall. In Gekkokujo, there are no shields, so you actually have to have some meat shields. And straight on to the Wu. The Wu recruits go into Wu footmen. Now, I did mention that the Wu have very strong cavalry, so don't let the footmen fool you. The footmen then go into veteran footmen and Wu skirmishers. The veteran footmen only then go into horsemen or infantry. You have infantry, and then you have the Wu guard. These are the strongest ones as far as the infantry tree goes for the Wu. On the other hand, if you go from the veteran footmen into Wu horsemen, they go into Wu sergeants, which go into Wu knights, and after that, into Wu Dark Knights. So yeah, these are some pretty darn badass guys. And honestly, I mentioned, I believe, in the first episode how the Wu Kingdom, at least in the Three Kingdoms period, was my favorite one, being led by the Sun Dynasty, which is, of course, consequently why we are called Sun Tiang. Alright. Now, they do, of course, also have a little bit of an archer branch as well. So if you go from the Wu footmen into Wu skirmishers, they do go then, skirmishers, they then go into the archers, and then into Wu veteran archers. So these are the best that you can find in the Wu troop tree. Next is the Song Dynasty. Now, Song Kingdom. Well, I mean, technically speaking, this is supposed to be like a Song Dynasty period, so they are, I suppose, the main kingdom over here. Even if it doesn't feel like it. The Song have very strong archers, so yeah, it's a little bit confusing how things begin with footmen or skirmishers, etc. Like, usually you already decide which branch of the troop tree your units will go at the first upgrade. But over here, as you've noticed, it does not go that way. First are the footmen, and then at the footmen is where you select, are they going to Song veterans or Song skirmishers? So further into the infantry branch or further into the skirmisher branch. Now Song veterans, there we go, they are so far still infantry, at which point you can go either horsemen or infantry. Now, if you look at the horsemen, they go into Song Horsemen, which go into Song Knight, and that is pretty much it. I do like the shield, though. Like, it's a pretty neat shield. Otherwise, if you go into the Song Infantry, this is the Song Infantry unit, which goes into the Song Guard, which goes into the Song Veteran Guard. Honestly, if you ask me, the Song Guard looks better, but the shields are, yeah, the Songs, I just simply love the looks of the Song shields. Or, in the other direction, if you go Skirmisher like you're supposed to go with the Songs, you end up with a Song Skirmisher, which levels up into the Song Archer, which then goes into Song Marksman, which goes into Veteran Archers, and then Song Archer Master. Now, granted, they are called archers, but really they're crossbowmen, as you can see over on their weapons. Now then, the next one is the Chu. Now, Chu, I mentioned they have strong infantry. So, Shu Spearmen, this is one of the rare ones where you actually go, where it actually tells you exactly what you want at the beginning. So yeah, the true tribesmen go into Spearmen, which then go into either trained Spearmen or crossbowmen. Now, if we go into, I usually go into the shorter branch first, so let's just check what the true crossbowmen look like. There we go, true crossbowmen, good God, I'm talking way too fast, I think, which goes into the true, he says, Chu trained crossbowmen, armed sharpshooters, and then armed sharpshooter master. Pretty sure not sure if arm is the right word there. Maybe they were trying to go for armored? Not too sure about that one. It's just that I've never heard of an armed sharpshooter before. At any rate, but if you go into the trained spearman branch, which is what you're supposed to go with the Chu, You get the trained spearmen, after which you get veteran shield footmen. You don't even go to the footmen, you just go straight for the veteran shield footman. Which then goes into the heavy shield soldier. Good God, yeah, that does look heavy. And after that, into the shield guard. Now, you can imagine, these guys probably are the literal meaning, the literal sense and meaning behind the word shield wall. Because these guys can just make a wall out of that. Alright, so the Shu are next. Now Shu, just like Chu, do have strong infantry. So just like the Chu, they do go into Shu Spearmen first. The crossbowmen, I believe, are slightly different than with the Chu. Going from crossbowmen into trained crossbowmen, veteran crossbowmen, and then sharpshooters. So yeah, they go into sharpshooters, they don't really go into sharpshooter master. So wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. No. It's like the same level. But yeah, this is what you end up with. Pretty cool looking. Won't lie. Alright, Shu Spearmen goes into trained spearmen, which goes into veteran spearmen. Shu Infantry, Shu Sergeant. I will say that they look like they have a bucket on their head, but oh well. Which goes into Shu Guard, which is the strongest unit of the Shu Dynasty. So this is what you would want to go for. Next, the Jinn. The Jinn have the thrower unit. Now these are the only guys on the map that have thrower units. Granted, the Liao, I believe, are the only ones that have lancers as well, so these are very specific units. Now then, the Jinn go from recruits into footmen, after which they go into veterans or throwmen. Now if you go into veterans, you also have a choice between horsemen or further infantry. If you go infantry, this is pretty much it. That's it. Like, you go recruit, footman, infantry. That's it. So that already tells you the Jinn infantry is not that strong. But if you go from veteran into horseman, into Jinn ge horseman, ge knight, and you end up with that. No, wait. That's actually a camel, huh? Interesting. Alright, yeah, the Jinn are very interesting. Alright. But if you go from footman into throwman, which is what the game actually wants you to go here, you get Jinn trained throwman, veteran throwman, wind throw guard, wind throw master. Now this is what you end up with. Let's just check. It does say that they are archers, but let's have them tell them about ourselves and see exactly what this is. Okay, so they have throwing 335. Alright, granted. Now, there's no way for us to actually check what sort of weapons they have. We can't tell them to show us their what they're currently holding. That's too bad. I was actually curious what exactly they throw. I have not seen them in action yet, so apologies for that. I'll be a little bit vague on that one. Next, the Shah. The Shah having good, let me remember, right. What I saw on the internet is that they have the best non-axe infantry. Now, why non-axe was specifically pointed out, not sure, but let's just say that they have very, very good infantry. So, out of recruits, you go into footmen, at which part you go into trained footmen or axemen. Should you go into axemen, you then go into veteran axemen, and then into axe champions. Now granted, that, as you can see, axe does not hold the same meaning as axe in Europe would. AKA like the Viking battle axe or something like that. No. These guys hack things in half. Or if you go into trained footmen, you then go into Shah warrior, into Shah Ratan armor, probably warrior as well, veteran Ratan armor, and then Ratan armor guard. They look like they're covered in straw, to be honest, but if we look at it, is essentially, wait, 1, 2, 3, so 4 points into the branch of an axe. So that's why the internet said non-axe infantry. There we go, because if you actually go into the footman, you then end up with the far stronger armor guard. I'm sure those are actually stronger, but we can check real quick. Tell me about yourself. Level 33, health 83. Good God, yeah, that's a lot of health. Yeah, you guys are pretty meaty, pretty fleshy, pretty meaty. What about the Axe Champions? What do you like? Yeah, as you can see, immediately lower level, lower health, lower points. So yeah, definitely if you're gonna have the Shah units, go for the Rattan armor guards. Those should be your aim. Alright, the Han are next. Also very strong cavalry. So Han, go into Han militia. At which point you select whether you want footmen or skirmishers. And of course, after you go footmen, you can then further select whether you want them to go into the cavalry branch or whether you want them to continue in the infantry branch. Should you select the infantry branch, you go nowhere. You basically just go through infantry and that's it. Ending. But if you go into, horsemen, you go through the horseman, sergeant, Han knight, and then the cloak knight. Very strong units for sure in the Han Kingdom. But of course, from the militia, you can also go skirmisher, which goes into crossbowmen. After that, into sharpshooters. And that's pretty much it. So yeah, definitely go for the knights should you have a mixture that includes Han units. Next are the Zhao. Now, these guys have horse archers. Those are their strongest units. So the Zhao immediately, alright, these guys actually do tell you that they're going to go straight into the archery profession by going through the Zhao Skirmisher, which then further goes into Zhao Horseman. Now you can of course go Lancer. I know that I said Liao have the only Lancer path. It's not true, but they definitely have the stronger Lancers, for sure. Now you can go Lancer with the Zhao. Through Veteran Lancer, and that's it. I mean, they do look pretty good. They do look pretty good. Won't lie. But that is not what you want to go for if you go with the Zhao. If you go with the Zhao, you definitely want to go for the Horse Archers. There we go. After which they go into Veteran Horse Archers, into Zhao Eagle Rangers, and finally into the Zhao Eagle Veteran Rangers. Definitely a force to be reckoned with. Imagine these guys essentially being the Kurgit Khanat from the vanilla. Just riding around, shooting enemies down, no problem, no mess. Alright, and I believe last but not least, the Liang Shan. Now the Liang Shan have archers as well, but archers, not horse archers. So, the Liang Shan go into footmen. Again, might be a little bit confusing, but once you select the footmen, you can actually, or rather upgrade them into footmen, you can actually select whether you want them to go further down the infantry path, which does, of course, also lead through the cavalry path, very short path, or if you go for the Liang Shan Skirmisher. So let's check the shorter paths first. So if you select to go for the Liang Shan Veteran, you can then once again choose Horseman or Infantry, like I said. If you go Horseman, you go into Liang Shan Horseman and then Knight, after which is the Sky Knight. Honestly, the Knight looks kind of better, doesn't it? The Sky Knight looks like he's kind of a Ronin in the Japanese sense of the word. Just, I don't know. Does not look like he has a master he serves, simply because of that. I know it's not a rag. I'm sorry if that offends anybody, but yeah, the Knight looks better. But that's just my personal preference. All right, but if you go into the infantry, you go through the Liang Shan Infantry. I love those sickles. And then into the Liang Shan Guard. And that is pretty much it. But if you go from the Liang Shan Footmen into the Skirmisher, which the game... I keep saying the game wants you to go that, but I only keep saying that because that is the longest branch, which usually means that it yields the strongest units in that specific kingdom. So, if you go from Liang Shan Footmen into Liang Shan Skirmishers, you can then go into Archers, which then goes into Sky Marksmen, levels up into the Sky Archers, and last but not least, finally into the Liang Shan Sky Archer Master. And yeah, that is pretty much it as far as all of the units in the game goes. Now, sorry, not all of the units. I am a little bit confused because if you remember at the very beginning of the first episode when we were given all of those tips and hints and things just to read through, it did say that certain kingdoms do have special units that you get once you talk with the mayor after you join that faction. Now, I'm not sure if I basically cheated my way to getting any of those, or if those special units are unavailable to us simply because we have not pledged our loyalty to any of the kingdoms, any of the generals, and haven't talked to any of the mayors. But these are the ones, at least, that are available to everybody when you begin the game. Now, my personal selection would most likely be something like the Wu Dark Knight, that's for sure. As far as the archers go, I would probably go for the Liang Shan Sky Archers. Infantries, let me, I forgot which ones had the, wait, these are the, no, not throw, the Shield Guard. These guys, simply because of their massive shields that I feel confident I could simply place in front of our archers. They would be safe, our archers would be safe to fire, and then the Wu cavalry behind us would be able to strike at the enemy once they are broken, either by the archer fire or simply fighting our heavy shield guards. That would be my composition. What do you guys think? What would your guys' composition be? Leave a comment down below. Now, should you guys feel that this was perhaps a little bit insufficient, if you guys would want me to go a bit more into the actual stats of the units, perhaps at least of the strongest units of each faction, like perhaps the if we looked at Liang Shan, so maybe we go and check the Sky Knight, the Guard, and the Master Archer. So basically only look at the very ends of each of these branches. Let me also know that in the comment section. Now, if there won't be any calls for additional troop videos, we will simply continue and go for the main quest, which does tell us to go into Shuipo Liang Shan, which is located right over here. And yes, in the beginning of the video, we were located right here. That's because there was a little bit of a crash during the video. Sorry about that. At any rate, guys, tell me what you think. Like I said, what would your composition be? Tell me if you want me to go into a little bit more details with these units. If not, we'll just continue from next time, as per usual. Thank you very much for joining me. I have been Kaiser. I will see you guys next time. Until then, as always, if you like what I do, please do consider leaving a like, subscribe if you haven't yet, share these videos around, and until next time, as always, ad gloriam.